G'day, mate, and welcome to another episode of Your Base Toured with JD. Today we're looking at Matthew Pocock's base. Now, he actually runs his own YouTube series, right? And he's been watching me, and I've been watching him for quite some time. So I'm actually going to link to his series, or his channel down the description. And look, I really recommend you guys go have a look at what he's doing and how he's doing it. Right, I've learnt a few things from him. He's learnt a few things from me. It's been an interesting little exercise. Actually, when we did the GM8 event last month, he was actually the person who put together the whole rocket build and the whole module base that did like 22 modules per minute or something. It was crazy. But I outsourced both those blueprints to him, and he came through flawlessly for me. So yeah, I really recommend you guys go have a look, see what he does, see how he does it. You never know, maybe you'll learn something too. Either that, or maybe you'll have another interesting YouTuber to watch for your more Factorio content. Anyway, I'm in his base today. Now, he calls it base in a book. So what he actually did is he went into creative mode, and he made his mega base builds to produce, you know, so many green circuits and so much iron and so much copper to make so many science packs per minute. And then after he had these really big scale these big scale builds in creative mode, he blueprinted them to then import them into a real world. So he started from a same starter base, same as we all do. He started from that point and went forward from there. And this is It's save number 67 is the save he's given me. He says it's probably about 5 days or 4 days ahead of where it is on his current YouTube series. So we're gonna have a tour around his base, all right? And me being me, I'm gonna point things out and look at things and make complaints about the way, along the way and that sort of stuff. But you know, it is what it is. So he's got 8 belts, 8 red belts coming off the trains, which he's compressing down to, oh, I hate that, down to 5 belts. Using this lovely 8 to 6 thingamajiggy bob. Now, anybody who's watched my series for a long time knows I'm not a fan of these in theory, perfectly balanced 8 to whatever balances. I honestly don't think they work. Or if they do work, they're often throughput limited. So if I cut a couple of belts here, they die at this end. He is using it to go red to blue, which I sort of understand. But then we're only using stack inserters out of the box and fast inserters onto the belt. Whereas I'd be using stack and stack. I'd be going straight to a blue belt. And I'd be taking 8 belts and running them 8 to a 8 splitter and just taking 4 out the other end. He's taken 5 because I'm imagining he's got 5 smelters. But then again, I take 8 to an 8 and just fly those trains through faster. Anyway, so we're going to start at the train station. So he's using 1-4 trains, which is a little bit slow for my taste on acceleration. But he's made a really, really elegant main bus. Is probably the best way of putting it. See what I'm talking about? This is 8 down to 4, and there's gaps. And that's an 8 to 8, and that one is throughput limited. If I cut, hang on, let's get this right. If I cut that belt, I don't have a proper pickaxe. No, express, fast. Oh, this is all over the place. Express. Because it's a mix of belts coming through and it's not through full put, it probably won't work for me. There you go, bots, fix it. Yeah, they can do that. Anyway, I should probably fix this because otherwise it's going to flow on effect as we walk through the base. Anyway, so he's got his steel smelter, which is one you're probably familiar with. It's one of the ones that I tend to build as well. Steel. A little stone build, which is actually a blue belt of stone brick out. Which I'm a little bit surprised at. Me, even personally, I've never used a blue belt worth of brick, ever. I think the highest I've got is about a half belt. Half a blue belt of brick, maybe. And he's got 3 irons up here. 2, 4, 8. So that's 10 belts of copper. With another 5 belts worth of iron down the bottom. Which is just an odd build. He has solid fuel, because why not, to feed the furnaces? Because it just gets to a point where, you know, we load rocket fuel onto a belt to feed the furnaces. Because we can! And he does have this lovely little uranium build. I actually watched the video he did on this, and it has lovely complex smarts. But the bottom line is, after you place this one down, and you place one of these, it'll self-feed. And it self-feeds exactly 40. The excess one gets shunted off the end and runs... Oh, we're going to do a process right now. The extra one gets shunted off, and this one can pick it up to get itself started. And then shunted off and picked up, shunted off and picked up. So these run with just the 40 in them. They don't have, like, all my ones are made dumb, so they end up with, like, 82 uranium-235 in them. Whereas this just pumps out the extra one, and you can see, you know, 4 little bits of uranium pop out. Anyway, onto the bus. Now, I can already tell this is not the original base. This is probably the second version. Because at the start of the bus, we actually have gun ammo. At the end of the bus, we have science. So I'm imagining the bus originally started right to left. And then at some stage got swapped left to right. Or probably because he ran out of room for train stations at this end. Or he just rebuilt the whole thing and built the whole thing backwards, which is perfectly acceptable. No complaints from me. So we've got ammunition, because there are biters on the map, and all biters need to die. Seems logical to me. He has, like, I will say this is probably one of the neatest bus bases I've ever seen, and I'm amazed at some of the things he has being built automatically. Like, we'll get to the mall, the make everything, the make almost everything, hardware store, whatever you want to call it next. But he's got lots of things that I don't automate. Like, you know, landmines are automated. I think I did landmines, like 2 assemblers, and just had them pelt out landmines in the transitioning the Megabase series, but that was it. You know, after I built a heap of landmines, put a heap of landmines down, eventually I pulled up the assembly machines, and I think I've got about 1,000 in storage. He's got all the different cannon shells in stock. I normally just go straight to the uranium rounds and forget everything else. Does have artillery. Artillery is always very, very important. Cluster grenades. Like, cluster grenades are fun, especially if you throw them out the back of a tank at your biters, but you know, silos are automated. We want 1 in stock. Yeah, there's some things I wouldn't expect to be automated, like wire and combinators and power switches, like 50 power switches, speakers, 50 speakers. I will say that he did tell me that he made all the blueprints or all the parts for the base himself. So this is his make everything. And I will say, it is very, very gorgeous and very, very neat, whereas mine's really shoved together, sort of higgity-piggity. But it works. And that's the bottom line, really, when it comes to make everything. It doesn't have to look neat, because you don't really look at it. As soon as you get to the point of robots, you don't even visit the damn thing anymore. It just makes what you want it to make. So, it's very neat. Very, very neat. I can't look at it anymore. He's got his belt build with his inserter build with his assemblers. This is your basics. Although he does have, again, you know, science labs are being automated, because I guess there's a bit of why not. You know, if you're going to automate things, why not automate everything? But this build I've definitely seen before. I'm a little bit disappointed that we've got a level 2 assembler here, here, and here, and here, and here, and yep. Also a little bit disappointed that none of these gear machines have productivity modules. Where we've got speed modules over here, and there were productivity modules back here, but there's none here. Okay. We've got our lab set up, which is using a red and a yellow belt weaving with passing through. I'm not a fan. I never have been a fan. I'm not a fan of the pass-through. It's a neat feature that they implemented in Factorio, and I have set up my very own 50-odd lab Mexican wave where we pass science packs back and forth. It was interesting, but yeah. We've got red and green science. Now, this base does produce... It's being limited by space science currently. But he does have max rate calculator installed, so I can bring that up. And we are doing about 150 science per minute, which is you know, no chump change. This is the starter base still, so it's not designed for high throughput. Again, we've got high tech science, and I do love his little gears to gun turret setup. So this is about perfect ratioed as you can get. So we've got 3 productivities and 1 speed to purely per second. To purely cut down the amount of iron we need in this machine. You know, we're using 5 iron, 5.2 iron per second, whereas realistically, that's not even fast enough. Put one of them back. There we go. 7.5 iron. So, just that way around. So, we went from 7.5 iron down to 5.2. It's a little bit of a saving, but it all adds up. So, yeah, I love this little build. Along with his mining drills, again, productivity modules, because you choose so much iron in those mining drills for blue science. You don't realize it until you try to scale things up. Same as I did on both my current series currently. You know, I had a whole train just delivering iron to a couple of these builds just to crank them out faster and faster. So we've got blue science, we've got purple science, we've got high-tech science. Again, using those productivity modules where and where we can. Finally, the silos. And it's actually a feed problem. Can't get red circuits into these builds fast enough. Which is actually surprising, and we'll get there shortly. Because his red circuit build, it's definitely one I haven't seen before, and I'm really actually impressed by it. Same as I'm just impressed by, like, making plastic on site to do the low-density structures. That's definitely something I haven't seen before. Same with, you know, wrapping this belt up under, merging the two with, you know, merging it with rocket fuel and bringing it down to actually make the satellite. Again, not something I've seen. I've seen direct insertion of, you know, 1 or 2 or 3 items. But yeah, this is not one I've seen where we're merging the two and running them on a belt. I guess close proximity makes sense. But yeah, so that's the north side of the bus. Now his bus is interesting. I'll say that much. It's very, very well laid out, and you can see that there's not too much speed going on. There's a little bit with some of these wonderful mergers and joins, and that we have circuits going left, and iron and steel and bricks going right, and copper going right. So there's a bit of stuff going left and stuff going right, which would get a bit confusing. But okay, so we'll jump down here. We've got the concrete build to end all concrete builds, which again, if you pay attention, comes up through the bus, worms its way over here, runs up the side of the make everything mall, hardware store, whatever you want to call it, to actually make nuclear reactors, because they need concrete. Same with centrifuge. So he's put that on a belt, whereas I just use bots. You know, sure, they use a lot of it, but you don't make that many centrifuges or nuclear reactors. So just bot the little bit that you need. We have like gears made on site to make personal robots, to make personal robots too. Lasers are made right here. And here, you know, this is the actual laser build. That's an actual laser build, but this is for personal laser defense. So, like, these are one of the things. The only time I automate power armor parts is for a multiplayer server. I've never done it in a single player server, ever. So again, the interestingness of the bus. So we actually have coal and sulfur coming in from the bus on the right-hand side. Coal on the left, merging the middle. Bringing them down to make explosives. Again, I've never put sulfur on a bus. It's interesting. And this is one of the reasons I love doing these base tours. Because you get to see how other people build. And sometimes people come up with builds that you're just like amazed at. And you think to yourself, why didn't I think of that before? Other times you look at builds and like, does that actually work? How does that work? That's shockingly interesting. So we got a battery build, which is being fed by a yellow belt, which is not something I admit I would ever do. I would automatically put this on red, and you can see it's got combinators everywhere to mark what goes where. But you can see, because of the bottleneck mod, that all these guys are actually running at full speed. Nothing is waiting, because if they're waiting, there'd be a yellow light, which means either we can't output or not enough input. Red means we've stopped for whatever reason. In the case of these, it's because they're full. But yeah, like they occasionally go red because they run out of materials, which is just a belt timing thing. But this is all running off a yellow belt. I'd be using red personally. You can see these guys are green because they're keeping up. These guys are yellow because they're blocked in production. Yeah. We've got pipes and gears being fed in with steel, which again is just shoving everything on one side of the belt to make our engine units, which merge together nicely, run up the bus, and we've got some going up to make everything, some going left and coming straight back down. Whereas I'd just pop across. You know, it's one of those. It's one of those beauties of a bus. He's brought it up to the bus because that's where it should go, and then okay, so we need it for electric engines. So he's brought it back from the bus to make electric engines. Whereas I would have just gone pop straight across. Just ignored the fact of everything else and just brought that to there. Anyway, taking the other line up to there, but you know, take the rest down. Now he's definitely a fan of the lane mergers. So you can see this will automatically, this is always going to pull from this internal line and this internal line. Okay, so it should pull from this one is that lane. This side is actually this lane of the belt. So it should pull very, very evenly from both sides of the belt down here. Even if this belt is only getting pulled from one side. It's a beautiful little way to balance the lanes on a belt. Again, personal thing. My issue is if one side of the belt empties, the inserters will grab from the other side of the belt automatically. That is the beauty of inserters. So I really avoid these things unless I need them for throughput reasons or something like that. But Matthew is definitely a fan of them, and all the power to him. You know, it's one of those things that it's the beauty on the way other people play. This is a fairly typical green circuit build. It is a very, very compact build, and 13 and 13 in for 18 out. And you'll see when we do two of them, that's a lot in for almost a full belt out. And you'll see he's got two of these together. So after you merge, bring two together, it's almost two full blue belts for a belt and a half in. He's got one belt of copper with one belt of iron. So he can probably only run, yeah, that much at once. So a belt of copper in, a belt of iron in for a belt and a quarter worth of green circuits out. But of course, because it's belts, we can back up on the belt as much as we want. And that's exactly what's happened. He's got two lanes of green circuits coming up. And then again, you know, we've got this lovely merge here to go north for the make everything. Red circuits, green circuits are going to the right and the left. Red circuits have come from the right, from this build here. Now, this build here, I love it. I love it. I gotta admit it. So, we're doing copper to green circuits. Now, these won't run at full speed. From the looks of it, it doesn't have to run at full speed, because we've got a copper cable machine here, running copper cable into just these 6 guys. So these 6 guys need 5 copper cable per second. This guy does 7.5, so we're in the clear there. They need 2.5 green circuits. And we're producing about half that amount. Oh, about a third that amount. So the green circuit machine's a little bit behind the amount we need here. And Matthew's just, all he's done is he's choked the copper going in. Into the green circuit machine. So, if I can do this. So, he's doing copper into green circuits onto the top side of the belt. Copper's getting pulled out here with a splitter trick to keep everything nice and in line. Dumping the copper cable, dumping the green circuits, and these are almost running at full speed. I actually think if he took... I have any prod mods. Let's steal your prod mods. If he did that, I think they probably all run at full speed then. 2.2... Probably. I imagine... Oh no, he's got a speed beacon here and a speed beacon here. Okay, let's walk down the next build because I broke the first one. So there's a speed beacon here bumping up the speed of these. So these are at 1.125. Oh, we got weird... Okay. Oh, this build. 1.75, 1.125, 1.31, 1.31, 1.25, 1.75. So why are you getting a double speed boost? Oh, because you're affected by both of them. I wonder if this beacon's meant to be here or if it's meant to be 1 tile higher. Because if it was 1 tile higher, they'd all have like a beacon coverage or a speed module coverage. This takes so long. I don't have a steel pickaxe. I should really pick up one of those before I start these base tour episodes. Put that in. Oh, now it doesn't have power. Ah. Okay. I don't know. I've broken the build enough. Anyway. So this is his red circuit build. So we're doing copper in, another line of copper to do these guys. Alright. Making red circuits as fast as possible. And he's also bringing the plastic down and making the plastic on site. And again, I've never done plastic on site. I've always done a belt worth of plastic. And I've never actually thought about just plumbing out the petroleum and the coal, because it's 1 coal in for 2 plastic out. So it's very, very easy to compress a belt. Or to get enough plastic on site by just running a coal belt and a petroleum pipe. But look, I'm very much amazed by this little build, because before I broke it, it does a blue belt of red circuits. Now, red circuits have always been a problem of mine. I've got a great green circuit build that I can just paste down time and time again to get me belts and belts and belts of green circuits. But I have to admit, my own red circuit builds are a little bit to be desired. So, I really, really like this build. It is several belts of raw resources in, but they all are. Bring that up again. So it is 4 and a bit. We'll call it 4 belts of copper in. 2 and a bit, and he's only run 2 belts of iron, so it's probably more than enough. A good amount of petroleum. but we do have a lot of overproduction. So a good amount of petroleum in with a tiny bit of coal. Again, he's just run a single blue belt split into two, so obviously a single belt of coal is more than enough. To make a full belt of red circuits out, rather than trying to make the green circuits, belt the green circuits along, and then make a whole lot here, it's just a one belt. I love it. I love it. Onto the blue circuits. Again, he's using the same method to make blue circuits on site, green circuits on site. So he's doing copper to green circuits, and I've used the exact same build on my heating factor below the belt series, where I've brought copper in, iron in this gap, used long-handed inserters to make blue circuits, and again, a massive build. But you know, what good build isn't massive? Well, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 belts of copper in, which is about right. With 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 belts of iron in. Got a lot of overproduction, so you'll notice these iron belts are actually only red speed. They're not blue speed, they're red speed, which seems to be more than enough. For 8 blue circuits per minute, which doesn't sound like a lot, but you just don't use blue circuits that much. So yeah, it's a good little build, and you know, acid's piped in. Oh, he's passed it through this space. Oh, see, I had my acid coming all the way out to the outside. I was picking it up out here. So yeah, another little good build. I love that build as well. We've got your standard module build, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, it's slightly out of ratio. Okay, so it's 2 speed 2s, 2 speed 1s to a speed 2, which is perfect ratio. 2 speed 2s to a speed 3. It's actually 2.5 speed 2s to a 3. So, Matthew, need a redesign here. When you watch this episode, you need a redesign. You're going to get 1, 2.5 machines to this one. The standard ratio is 10 speed 1s to 5 speed 2s to 2 speed 3s. Same for productivity. And we've got another speed 1 down here, because obviously who uses efficiency modules? And then we've got Skynet. So we're obviously taking all the leftovers, batteries and electric engines, and making our very own little Skynet right here at the end. This is where all this sulfur came from. 3 little machines going flat out. Just dumping sulfur. Oh no, this is to make acid. Sulfur's over here. We've got his oil build, which as you can see is fully moduled. He's brought all the pipes to the outside and then stuck the beacons in here. Whereas I've always done 2 on the inside and 1 on the outside with beacons about here-ish. The only comment I actually had about his oil, because I did have quite some time looking at this, is actually for a change lack of tanks. There doesn't seem to be any tank storage anywhere. So he can't actually wire any of his pumps up to reader conditions. So at the moment he's backed up on petroleum, has no light oil, no heavy oil. If we follow the light oil pipe here somewhere, so light oil comes there, there, there. Actually, it's all just taken straight down to be cracked. Yeah. It must be this oil build that has the light. No. Oh, here it is. We're making rocket fuel from petroleum. Matthew. So, 1 solid fuel uses 20 petroleum, but 1 solid fuel uses 10 light oil. Now, if you crack 30 light oil, being 3 lots of solid fuel, you get 20 petroleum, being 1 lot of solid fuel. So you're turning 3 solid fuel into 1 solid fuel by cracking it first and then using petroleum. It does mean that basically at the end of the day, you're just looking for all your products to be turned into petroleum. It also means you're using more oil. So that's the catch that comes with it. Here's his actual sulfur production. Again, just lots of machines whacking on a belt, and then just runs the whole. Like I've never seen a belt full of yellow sulfur, ever. It's different. We got oil unloading. I just sneezed, so my nose is all stuffed up. He's got a second oil belt, probably because he's making rocket fuel out of petroleum. It's just not enough. He has his power generation down here. Now, he's not really... Well, he is using it currently. Of course, the second I come down here, they start firing up. So these are steam turbines running off boilers. So they're very, very expensive. 120 iron, 50 copper compared to 31 iron. But one steam turbine uses twice the amount of steam and produces twice the amount of power as a steam engine. So, it also makes the build much smaller. So he's actually got his coal train coming in, dumping coal. And then he has these lovely belts, which just use a red belt of coal, followed by another red belt, and he's used the lovely waterfall splitters. And he's actually done them the correct way. So we pull... This is something that a lot of people get wrong. We pull a full belt off, and then we merge everything down. And we start from the top. So we clear this belt, and we refill it, and we clear this belt, and we refill it, blah, 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 blah. And then put another red belt down. And then we clear the belts. And then occasionally you just end the belts. And that forces all the materials down to that bottom belt. And we'll notice when we wrap around the build, there's a whole another build here, and here, here, and here before it finally finishes. He's basically wrapped the whole lake in steam power. He does have a good amount of solar running. Oh, there's the wrong type of power poles here, Matthew. You're going to have to fix these. And these guys, burner incentives. Okay, I guess they'd work. But Matthew, bottom right hand one, and left hand one, and all the bottom ones. You got some power poles in here that they're the medium type. They're not burnable. So yeah, it's a nice little build. I remember watching his video when he did these, and he found out exactly how much light oil and petroleum he could pump into them to make solid fuel on site to run these contraptions. Is probably the best way of putting it. So we've got accumulators and solar panels because he is placing solar. He has done well with trains. So he has a lot of trains just dedicated to one purpose. So we've got a landfill train, obviously, a solar panel train, which unfortunately has way too much cliff explosives in it and not nearly enough landfill. We've got a general making builds one, and I'll show you why he's got this one shortly, because he is putting down mega builds. So I'm guessing at least a couple of thousand science packs per minute. I haven't actually double checked and see how much he's actually doing. We have a fuel train with a Logibot train with an absolute trash train. Just dump it out as fast as possible. And you'll see a lot of these chests have wire conditions. See, these guys all have wire conditions. And I'm assuming that's to sink the inserters. Actually, we're probably close enough. We can run up there and have a look. Yeah, we are close enough to have a look. Yeah, so they're purely to sink the inserters, so they all move. Check that out. No. If red equals 0. So it's actually designed for when the train's parked in here, the inserters run. Okay, I'm not sure what the purpose is there. I know somebody in the comments, or even Matthew himself, can outline to me what I've done, why I don't understand it. Yeah, if the signal's red, maybe it's to cut down. Go away. I don't know. Go there. And then delete that one. Show active state. Nope, not sure why. Not sure why. Because I know it was encountered on the Clastorio server. When inserters were like this, with stuff in their hands, leaning over a train track, they never went idle. And I thought maybe that's why they're linked up to the signal, but obviously not. So I'm not sure. Not sure at all. Anyway, so this is the basics of the base. Now, it does have a very, very tidy perimeter wall, you know, lasers, gun turrets, flamethrowers, just to make sure everything that could die can die. And this is his little starter. Well, he's not a starter base. He's base that builds the base. Now, there is a long list of train tracks that take us out into the wilderness. And as you can see by the continuous red line down the middle, they're very nicely guarded against anything that's native and exists on the planet. On top of that, he's got his outside wall, which has got dragon's teeth, walls, obviously gun turrets that aren't hooked up. It looks like we've blueprinted this one down, but haven't finished actually building it and hooking up to a train track. But he has automated delivery of both cannon shells and ammo for the front line. So even if power goes down, and this is why I love these systems, if power goes down, every single one of these gun turrets has 10 or 12 or 13 or 11 bullets in it, and will kill off a whole biter wave without any real hassles. If power's knocked out, which happens occasionally. We all try to, insist that we're brilliant and never lose power, but occasionally power does get knocked out. Either through mistake or I built too much and forgot to stamp solar fast enough. Anyway, so he's got this lovely outside wall. And obviously, especially when it's butted up against water, it definitely keeps the natives out. Obviously, there's a few problems with some signals along the way that are obviously in his blueprint because it keeps getting repeated over and over and over. There needs to be some signals here, Matthew. Matthew, these lines need some signals. Add some signals, blueprint them, jump on a train, do a trip of the map, and some repair packs. Yeah, there's got this lovely outside wall. The catch is there's still some natives on the inside. They didn't quite all get killed off, it seems. But this is only the lower quadrant. In the upper quadrant, we've got his solar build, which again is something I had a close look at because he's designed every part of this base himself. Like even me, I'm really good at designing my own things, but solar, I'm lazy. Matthias, way back before I did the Bugging Around series with him, sent me a solar build. And I modified it slightly just to cram in a few more accumulators. But overall, it was a really good build. Since the Gigabase series, which is like a year ago, I've used the same solar blueprint. Because it just works. And I really don't want to reinvent the wheel. Matthew did reinvent the wheel. He has, and I'll bring this up. So it's linked at the corners, which means there are large spots where there is no... we'll do it at map view. So you can see there's large spots with no logi coverage, but you don't need logi coverage to build solar. Alright? And you can see we've got water in there. There shouldn't be water in there. Where are we? Where's a repeating pattern? So we've got the Roboport, radar. So I'm imagining there's another radar. So I'm imagining there is some either the radars are put in manually. I doubt that to see that they're... There we go. So I've got a radar, and there should be a radar there, but obviously that one got flipped around the wrong way. There should be a radar here somewhere. We'll take that one, for example. Or maybe he's actually pulling out... Maybe he's pulling out the radars manually. He is using the bot landfill mod that I've really fallen in love with because I hate placing down solar and not having the bots just auto-fill in all the crap for me. So you can see the bots are out here filling in landfill for him whilst he's busy doing other stuff. So yeah, he's got his own solar build. This is obviously an original outpost because it has walls around it. He's actually boxed in the whole top of the map now. And he started working on his large mega base builds. So these are the ones he made in creative mode. And then he's made a blueprint after working out all the bugs, which I love the creative mode for just that facility. And then started pasting them in. So this is heavy ore cracking. That's a lot of cracking. That's a lot of cracking. And again, like, the guy is a genius. Wow. The guy is very good. I won't say his Gepwin levels of genius when it comes to circuit conditions, because I haven't watched enough of his videos to say so. Not saying that he isn't, but I really can't answer that question, to be perfectly honest. But he has wired up a lot of his bases is using circuit conditions. Again, oil. You know, this I already know from my own designs, and because he hit me up in my Discord server, asking me how the hell did I get all the oil through my own builds fast enough, and I told him pumps. Needed to have pumps in the system to get the oil pushed through fast enough, and I don't think you'll get through the oil fast enough. I think I actually had to extend mine out and put in a pump every couple of refineries to actually get the oil moving through fast enough. Yeah, anything over 1200 per second seems to need dedicated pumps often. So we got his refinery builds with obviously heavy oil cracking up here. We're going to have light oil cracking down here. Yep, there we go. No idea where plastic's done. Plastic packs. Answer my own stupid question. And again, with the circuit conditions. So when this has enough plastic in it, it actually turns itself off and disconnects itself from the power. So at the moment, well, wrong one. Where is the mains power? Where is mains power? Oh, okay. So he's powered up the main train station, but not powered up externally. So you can see he's only running with 1,006 solar panels. So his peak production, is it peak? Are we in the middle of the day? 60 watts. Yep, we're in the middle of the day. Where are we? Plastic. Is about 3 gigawatts worth of power. Hang on. Pull out a calculator real quick. 106,000 solar panels multiplied by 42 watts divided by 2. It's 2.2 gigawatts. So his max on solar alone is 2.2 gigawatts currently. And the way he's bypassing that is by turning these builds off. Because I know for a fact this thing's going to chew power. You know, beacons and modules all love power. So what he's doing is, once it's full of plastic, just turns the build off. Doesn't need power for the moment. We'll power it back up later, but doesn't need power for the moment. And as you can see, he's built these power poles all the way around the outside, so the power networks don't accidentally intermingle, because they have a habit of doing that. So we've got a plastic build down, we've got a red circuit build down, and again, you'll see it's got its own power switch. And, oh, S is less than, no, I can't click. I can click on that one. I can break it remotely, but I can't, yep. So, you know, he set up pack stations. He's using his own rail blueprints, which are great, apart from them being right-hand drive. That ruined it for me straight away. Right-hand drive. Nope, not doing right-hand drive. His own stack is he has actually really impressed me with the fact that he's hand built so many different things that I have to admit, even though I hand build like whole bases, I do get to a point where I start blueprinting things over and over and over. And like rail tracks, Mojo's done a wonderful job on rails. I'm not touching him. I'm just going to grab his rail blueprints and go from there. So he's got his red circuits down. He's got his blue circuits down. He has a green circuit build, which I'm not sure about having wire fly through the air with robots. That's always been something that's just... I just can't bring myself to do it. because it's just so much bot travel. Matthew disagrees with me, but that's fine. It's always good to disagree. He's got his copper build. It's the wrong color, be iron JD. Which, you know, it is a 21,000 iron per minute. So it's not a small build by any count. And he's got his own fuel train, you know, like just running through each of these builds to power them up. So that's, oh, what do we got down here? This is the iron build. Again, I bet you it's 21,000. 21,000. Oh. No, because 32 smelters don't have any recipes. Because they're full. They're full, and therefore max rate calculator does not like them. But yeah, so that's his base so far. As said, I would definitely check him out. I'll put a link to his YouTube channel down in the description. I want to thank him for letting me have a tour of his base. And I also want to say that this, I'm hoping to make a weekly event. A weekly event, I go and wander through somebody else's base, have a bit of a critique, have a bit of observation, give a tour with you guys. Hopefully we can all learn something new, and we'll go on from there. Now, the next base, because I already know who it is, it's going to actually be Lord Couture, which is the actual creator of the SpaceX mod. So that's going to be interesting, because the guy likes building big. I already know that for a fact. So, I'm going to leave it here. Thank you guys for watching. If you want your base toured, jump on Discord. Links are always down in the description. Jump on Discord. Send me a direct message. We'll go from there. Direct message, save file, and I'm more than happy to have a look at anybody's base, because every base is slightly different. And that's one of the reasons I love doing base tours, and I love this series. A little bit longer videos than normal, but I think they're really worth it. So, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Alright, bye!